Remember this moment?
5, 4, command and start. 2, 1.
This was Blue Origin's first launch last summer.
That was the coolest angle.
Yeah, that was a good angle there. Carrying billionaire Jeff Bezos and 3 of his friends into suborbital trip.
Oh, it was the beginning of celebrities and elite checking space travel off their bucket lists. Tickets to reach the outer limits of the atmosphere cost anywhere from $125,000 up to $60 million.
That's quite a range.
Yeah, I know. The cost to the planet, as you can imagine, is even bigger. Dr. Eloise Marrer is an associate professor of physical geography at the University College of London. We appreciate you being with us and kind of talking about this. In fact, when it originally happened, I was kind of thinking about that. I was like, man, anytime a rocket launches, there's just so much exhaust and debris.
Yeah.
How does that impact the planet?
Yeah, we've been working on trying to understand this by conducting model simulations, which provide a representation of the atmosphere, all the chemistry processes that take place, the weather, and so on. And what we found from the research that we're carrying out is that rocket launches have the potential to deplete ozone in the stratosphere, the layer that's protecting us from harmful UV radiation. But fortunately, that effect is relatively small. The effect that we're most concerned about is really the climate effect that results from black carbon or soot particles that come from the rocket exhaust. These are released into many, many layers in the atmosphere. They stay there for a very, very long time, and they go on to have a warming effect on the atmosphere.
But a lot of people might say, yes, they're big polluters. They have all this, gunk with them, but they're only launching really a few times a year. Does it affect it that much?
Yeah, currently the launches are 100 to about 150 per year, but there's a lot of speculation about how large the space sector can become. I'm actually not sure how large it's going to become. We're all sort of speculating how many launches could happen in the future. The UK, where I'm based, has never had a spaceport, and they've built 7 spaceports. I think Canada is anticipating having their first launch. So there's a lot of countries very interested in growing their space sector. And so we're going to see considerably more than 100 to 200 launches per year. And the effect of these soot particles from a rocket are about 400 to 500 times greater than the equivalent soot particle from earthbound sources that we're more familiar with.
Yeah, I kind of was wondering if we could put a number to it. And I think you did, but you have a car that produces less CO2 than an airplane. Airplane produces less CO2 than a rocket. But is there a way to kind of see, in terms of percentages, how that is, rocket versus plane versus car?
Yeah, we've done this in the study that we conducted where we said for the same kind of, for one soot particle coming from a rocket launch versus, say, one soot particle coming from any of our earthbound sources, ships, cars, coal-fired power plants, we're estimating that the climate impact is about 400 to 500 times greater for that soot particle coming from a rocket. And this is because they're being released into higher layers in the atmosphere where we don't have the kind of loss processes like rainfall closer to the surface. So they can stay there for 2 to 3 years, if not longer.
So is there a way to do rocket launching clean? Or is anyone even trying to start thinking about that for the future?
There's definitely people thinking about all sorts of solutions. So far, the sort of less dirty fuel that exists is hydrogen fuel, but it's also not perfect. It produces water vapor, and water vapor sounds fine, but when it's released into these higher layers in the atmosphere, it goes on to have impacts that perturb the sort of natural functioning of those layers in the atmosphere, forming clouds, also reacting with other chemicals, depleting ozone. So we definitely don't have a perfect solution.
Cool. Something else to add to my list to worry about. I mean, I worry about space junk already, and now this.
Yes, it is a problem.
Thanks so much.
But, we're explorers. We're not going to stop. So we have to figure out a way to do it.
I need to figure out how to not worry, too.
Yet. Yes, that's true. Dr. Eloise Marrer, Associate Professor at the Department of Geography at the University College London. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I really hope they find a way to make it a little bit cleaner.
Well, the only thing that we report is the big balloon. Remember that
Going
big
up.
balloon?
That's not as
pulling it?
exciting as
No, it's not.
a rocket.
The slingshot.
Oh, Jordan's
Okay.
big on the slingshot.
It was
This
just
is
one
his
idea.
solution to everything.
It was one idea. I don't know how much, and then you just sling yourself up there. I don't even know if it's possible, but maybe we can come up with something else.
We'll think about it, Jordan.